Well, that was a wild night at the Parc des Princes. PSG just edged Tottenham 5-3 in the Champions League, a game packed with brilliance, with chaos, and with that signature European roller coaster. We saw a hat-trick from Vitinha, goals from Fabian Ruiz and William Pacho, moments of serious defensive fragility, but most of all, a show of the sheer attacking quality and depth PSG still have over many European clubs. Yes, there will be things to fix, defensively and offensively, but tonight, this win proves PSG remains very dangerous. Let's break down what worked, what worried me, and what this result says for the rest of the season. All right, PSG 5, Tottenham 3, big win, at least with a lot of goals, so really entertaining game in the Parc des Princes. PSG edges out Tottenham, a Tottenham team that scored first, that scored the second one, that led twice in the game, and that was in it until like roughly the middle of the second half. So yeah, a well-fought game. In the end, like it feels like I feel very validated in what I had said in the preview. Like I hate saying like patting myself on the back like this. But yeah, I think this was a Tottenham team that we did take seriously, that created problems for us. But that ultimately, like we had enough quality and talent to edge by, despite not doing everything perfectly. And I think, like I rewatched the game today. I tried to like listen and read through like a few analyses and so on, and like really like sit with my thoughts a little bit. And in the end, I think just after rewatching the game, I was like very, very positive about it. Maybe more so than like the chatter that I've seen online and what I've heard. And the more I think about it, the more I think I'm developing a slight case of split personality, because I think there's some stuff which is really good and some stuff which is quite bad as well. So I think that's how I'm going to do it today. I'll just go through the good things and the bad thing and kind of like wrap it up with my overall thoughts on this game, which should make it pretty easy. So moments of brilliance in this game. First, like we score 5 goals, and I think we shouldn't take that for granted in any way, especially since we didn't have a lot of our attacking strengths with Dembele only playing 15 minutes, Hakimi not there, Doué not there, Nuno Mendes only playing half of it. So yeah, scoring 5 goals in this context, it says something about the depth that we have, the depth of quality and the depth of players who can take chances and who can convert those chances. So when you see Vitinha scoring a hat-trick, yeah, man, like we know he's a great player. Like to me, he's probably like the best midfielder in world football. And we know he's got a great shot from outside the area, like a long-range shot. But still, like scoring 3 in one game, it's nothing to sneeze at. And really, really big performance for him overall. Even if you look beyond the goal, I think like just having our midfield 3 back together simplifies the game for us. Once again, not everything is perfect, and we'll get to that. But you can see that if I compare with the previous games and the previous weeks and so on, we have a much easier time kind of like taking charge of the game, imposing our tempo and imposing our style. And so I think, Vitinha, obviously, today he was the one that was shining the brightest. But Fabian Ruiz is still a very, very critical part of the team and critical part of the organization. And he had a good game as well. João Neves was a little bit more subdued, but he still had a very good game, still covered a lot of ground and still did a lot of work. And even in midfield, like I'll also include Warren Zaïre-Emery, who I think did really well. And I think like that's another thing which I thought was really interesting, is that tactically, it felt like we really moved in the second half to a 3-4-3 organization with 4 midfielders. So at the back, we had 3 like Marquinhos, Pacho, Hernandez. And then in midfield, you had Warren Zaïre-Emery on the right, Vitinha and João Neves in the middle, and Ruiz on the left. And I think having those 4 midfielders together in the center of the pitch really helped us take control of the game. And I think it's no surprise that this is the moment where we really take control of the game, take ownership of the game, and we go from being like 1-1 at halftime, 2 went down at early in the second half, all the way to like being 4-2 up and running away with the game. I think that turnaround happens in 15-20 minutes. And yeah, all of a sudden you see Vitinha being able to go closer to the area, even on regular play. You see Hernandez also being further up on the pitch and being able to press and get the ball back more aggressively. You see us being able to transition, and you see us being able to do a little bit of vintage PSG, which is finding players open, being able to overload the opposition team defense. And yeah, all of a sudden you see Fabian Ruiz alone in the area, converting a chance that we created by getting the ball back very high up on the pitch. And so yeah, I thought that was probably, to me, I've been very iffy about us playing 3 at the back, because I think a lot of time it made us very, very toothless offensively. But I think it's the first time where we actually saw how it could work for us in giving us both defensive stability and safety at the back, but also control in the middle and opportunities up front. And so yeah, that first block of the second half with that organization, I thought was very, very interesting. And we'll have to see how it looks moving forward. Is it something that we're going to see again? For sure at some point, but yeah, it's a thing that worked very well in this game. In terms of moments of brilliance as well, maybe not brilliance is obviously a strong word, but I thought couple of things. I think in offense, most of it I'll talk about later. But I liked the energy and the dynamism of Njantou, and the way he came on the team. Obviously not easy for an 18-year-old to get his first start in a Champions League game, but he didn't blink at the spotlight. He did the game he had to. He had a very rough game to play because Romero, Van der Ven, it's a pretty strong central defense. But yeah, he tried to move a lot, try to be open for his partners, to create line of passing. Not everything was great, and I think in the end, it's more a game for him to learn. But you can definitely see what he can bring to this team and the talent that he's got to the table. So I thought that one was interesting. And then ultimately, Dembele coming back on the pitch, it's great to see. He felt actually a little bit sharper than before his injury. So he was still obviously coming back from injury, so nowhere close to peak Dembele. But he felt, yeah, a little bit sharper, a little bit more physically ready for it. I think he creates a couple of things just by being there, and also through his moves, through his passing, through his opening lines and so on. He has one where he's a bit generous and he tries to pass it to Ramos, where he could have taken it himself and maybe done something out of it. So yeah, great to see him back on the team already a bit earlier than we initially thought. And hopefully he's coming back at a better level than he did last time, and that bodes well in terms of him staying fit. So yeah, for me, there were the key moments of brilliance. Now talk about disappointment. And it's funny because the general word of wisdom goes that the Champions League is the one football competition where you have to be really sharp in both penalty areas. You have to be very sharp defending in your own area, and you have to be very sharp attacking the opposition's defense. And I think in both cases, we didn't really succeed at that, and yet we get away with the win. So first, offensively, I think the first half was quite weak in terms of what we produced. I think there were the game that Tottenham wanted to play was one where they sit quite tight at the back, and we were ready for that, and there were clearly instruction to take shots from afar and to take any opportunities that come. But I think Njantou just didn't weigh enough on their defense to create chances in the box. And so we have, I think, 2-3 long-distance shots before the ones that Vitinha scores, which is quite light in terms of offensive production for a game like this. And truth be told, I think in the first half, both Kvara and Barcola are way below what we can expect of them. I know like Barcola struggles with his fitness levels and so on. I'm not questioning that. And I'm not throwing shades on the player because I know he's super talented. But yeah, if he needs to rest, he should rest. Like at this point, like when you see Kang In Lee come on the pitch on the 55th minute and what he does in the last 30, it's a lot more. And so like there's no reason why we couldn't play him. I think Vara, like once he's back on the left, he actually does a bit more and he pulls in a more like decent and honest performance. Not great by any standard, but closer to acceptable standards. But yeah, ultimately, like I'm gonna be very happy to see Dembele come back to fitness. I'm gonna see very happy like the day Doué comes back on this team as well. Because I do think like we miss a little bit of attacking oomph, and that's saying it lightly. And then on the other side, yeah, defensively we get 3 goals scored on us, which is far from great. Let's be honest, it's way too much, especially against a team which just yes, they've got like two like decent strikers in Kolo Muani and Richarlison. But we're not talking about Haaland or Mbappe, and we're definitely not talking about a team who's playing an offensive game and a creative game. And so seeing us concede 3 times, there's like fingers to points overall at the defense. I think in terms of individual performances, there's question marks to be asked of like almost all of our defenders and our goalkeeper. But I've seen already people like really once again like point the finger at Chevalier and so on, which I feel is a little bit unfair. So I'll go goal per goal and like tell you what I say. So the first goal is their young midfielder like Bergville or whatever his name is, like the blonde guy on the left, managing to get past Pacho. For some reason, is on the right of our defense. So it like really from the get-go, this is weird. Pacho is on the right. He gets passed by Bergville with a little like heel flick thing. And honestly, on this one, Pacho looks a little bit like Beraldo-ish. So it's really not great to begin with. Cross comes by and goes like at the far post. And at the far post, for some reason, like Nuno Mendes just completely like gives 2 meters of space to Kolo Muani, who manages to make, Kolo Muani is a tall guy, he's good with the header, so it would have been hard for Nuno Mendes to get the ball, but at least he would have given him a challenge and not like let him do a header unopposed. So Kolo Muani gets the header, pulls it back towards the middle of goal, where Richarlison gets the best on Marquinhos and manages to score in an empty goal at this point. And I think, honestly, on this action, Pacho at the beginning has some blame because he gets passed way too easily, and I still don't know why he's there in the first place. Nuno Mendes gives 2 meters of space to Kolo Muani, something he should never do. And I think Nuno Mendes' defensive production in the first half was quite weak overall. And then Marquinhos in the center like gets topped off by Richarlison. I mean, come on, like that was his 500th game or something. Like he should be able to know better than this. He should be able to like get his head on this one, counter whatever it might be. Like he's wrong in his timing. He doesn't appreciate. So yeah, and in the end, Chevalier. Yeah, it's hard to blame him because he follows the cross to the far post. But then, like, when the ball goes back towards the middle, like, you can never go as fast as the ball. So it's well played from Tottenham, and feels like the blame on this one is more for defenders than from our goalkeeper. So that's my appreciation of it. The second goal by Tottenham, I'm thinking... the third one, so I'll do the third one because I remember that one. Like the third one, the Vitinha loses the ball at the entrance of our area and makes like clearly a mistake from him, and like straight away he like raises his hand and like says it's for him. Kolo Muani gets the ball, manages to like get pushed towards the side by Hernandez, but he manages to get past Hernandez and then like shots with like a slightly tight angle, honestly not the tightest of all. The shot gets past Chevalier. Yeah, I mean, in this one, like Vitinha is mostly to blame. Hernandez could have done better in terms of closing off Colomwani a lot more and pushing him to the side a lot more. Chevalier could have done a little bit better in terms of getting to the shot. But Colomwani is also like an international grade striker. So he plays it well, gets the shot away, and yeah, like I don't think there's anything scandalous about this one. I would have loved it if Chevalier saved it, because that would have been like, masterclass save. But he doesn't get to it. Yeah, that's kind of the way it is. And then the second goal, yeah, like the second goal is also like a weird one of like crosses going back, going to the far post. Chevalier is a bit slow, so like the Tottenham player manages to get it back towards the middle before he gets to it. It gets to another Tottenham player who shoots. Pacho saves on the line, but it goes back to another Tottenham player who manages to get it past everyone. And honestly, like, I think on this one, Chevalier is a bit slow first to like try to intervene, and then he's a bit slow to try to get back to the middle. But hard to call. Like, honestly, like when the ball falls back to Tottenham players 3 times, when there's like 10 Tottenham and 10 PSG players in the area, there's a big element of bad luck as well, and you can only do so much. And ultimately, like, we kind of score the same kind of goal by Pacho, where Pacho gets a ball like in the area after a corner kick that the defenders don't manage to clear before he gets his feet on it, and he scores a goal like this. So yeah, sometimes things like this happen. I think in this game it kind of evens out. So yeah, overall, like moments of not so great work and things to tighten. But I find it very, very hard to like really point the finger at any of them. I think like really like our 4 defenders have different blames. Even Vitinha on the last one have different sort of blames on the goal. So yeah, we have to take that into account. So yeah, this is like overall what I had on this game. Bit of mixed feeling. I think in the end a win's a win. Honestly, 5-3 against Tottenham. I thought like the second half was, like I said, like I think there's 20 to 30 minutes of the second half in which we really dominate and we show what we can do. And I think like I'm left with the feeling of a PSG team who knows we've got this sort of quality on our team, and who knows that they're going to win the game in 20 minutes at some point, and they don't need to overdo it. They don't need to really like rush to it in the first half. There's a sort of killer instinct as well once they get it going, and that in 20 minutes they get like 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, and the game is over. And Tottenham really is left without being able to do anything. We're back. We're second in the rankings of the Champions League at this point. Great position. We've got Dembele, who came back on the pitch. Nuno Mendes, we'll have to see, but apparently it's not so much injury. It's a little bit of being careful with him. I think his production in the first half wasn't that great, so they probably like felt that it wasn't worth keeping him on the pitch anyway, and he could like rest it off for 45 minutes. Hernandez, sorry, I forgot about this one. Like Hernandez, I think he had like a great 42 minutes. He ruined it all with like a dumbass move of like putting an elbow in the face of Xavi Simons. It's like, for a 29-year-old who's world champion, who's played in Bayern Munich and in PSG and has won like basically every competition in world football, like really like high-level stupidity, like really high-level stupidity. He's going to be suspended for like 2 or 3 games at the back of this, and really like we could do without that. And it's too bad, because otherwise, yeah, the rest of it was pretty clean and quite good, honestly. So yeah. But yeah, a win's a win, 5-3, entertaining game. We get the result, we get the quality. Hopefully we don't get any injuries, but we get Dembele back. We get some confidence into our midfielders. yeah, happy days. And Gen 2 gets some learnings in the Champions League. A win's a win. We go on. We're second in Europe. Very happy with that. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this game. What's your takeaway from it? Who do you think was man of the match? Obviously, the guy on the picture. But who do you think was the second man of the match after that? And yeah, if you've made it this far, drop a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and hit the bell to get notified of future videos. And don't forget, ici c'est Paris!